Well, I think it's been almost 20 years ago. I've read a book called Thou Shall Prosper, and I started talking about on the air what a wonderful book it was, and the author called me up and he said, "Who are you? I love you. My book is selling." And he and I became great friends. Rabbi Daniel Lapin and I have been friends for, it's got to be 20 years, isn't it?
Probably. It sounds
Yeah, get down
right,
into
yeah.
that microphone. Get down into it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. It's been probably 20 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking almost. It's got to be, so see, that would be, that'd be 2002, 2000. No, it's not quite that long. Probably 15 years. Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Brand new book came out. Oddly enough, Rabbi is a Orthodox Jewish rabbi, and the book Thou Shalt Prosper is his main, or the book that made you.
Yes.
In terms of
With your help.
It's a fabulous book. It's one of my top 10 faves of all time. Yeah. And so I ended up writing the foreword when you reissued it later.
Yes.
And but this book came out, the new book, The Holistic You, Integrating Your Family, Finances, Faith, and Friendship and Fitness, sadly came out October the 8th.
Yes, that's right.
By an Orthodox Jewish rabbi after October the 7th. Really bad timing, Rabbi.
Awfully bad timing. You know, you can't rely on Hamas to get anything right.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I like it. So good stuff. So you taught us in Thou Shalt Prosper so thoroughly to not be ashamed of earning
Yes.
as a result of serving. I think one of my favorite quotes was, "If you do a good job for folks in business, they give you certificates of appreciation with presidents' faces on them."
Right.
And so you've written a lot of best-selling books about money and business and other practical life lessons that are woven all through there from the Hebrew Bible, what we call the Old Testament as Christians, and you call the Bible. And that's where you and I have had a lot of common ground, a lot of wonderful discussions.
Yes.
Fireside and over dinners with our wives and everything else. We've just become great friends. And so what is it that the holistic you goes into that you haven't done in these other books?
Yeah. It's the 30,000-foot view. It's zooming out a little bit and relating to the idea that our lives are actually a complex system. It's not as if these are separate components. In just the same way, nobody would say, your heart is one thing and your liver is something else and your lungs are something else. You go in to see a heart specialist, say, look, this is what you need. Take this medicine, it's great. It's going to wreck your kidney function, but it's going to be great for your heart. You get out of there as quickly as you can because I want a doctor who sees the whole me, not just a little part of me. And our lives are very much like that as well. We had a woman who became a coaching client of ours who came to us because she said she's done everything right. She did really well at college. She got into the business school of her choice. She focused. She graduated top in business administration. She came out with a really great MBA, and she says other people who didn't perform nearly at her level were getting much better job offers than she was, and that alerted her to the fact that there's something real going wrong. What's going wrong is that while some of her colleagues were attending birthday parties or celebrations, connecting with other people, building up their own personalities. In the final analysis, when you interview somebody for a job, you're not just looking at grades and GPAs from college. There's a subtle emotional, psychological connection that is the result of everything that you have done with your life, because everything you do contributes to making you who you are. So here's a girl who's terrific. I mean, very, very accomplished, but only unidimensionally. She was excellent academically. I mean, she could do a bond yield analysis in her head. I mean, she was really, really good.
But her relational IQ was just not.
But the rest of it just wasn't. Yeah. She couldn't talk about anything else. She didn't have any hobbies. She didn't have any interests. She'd really deliberately neglected all the other aspects of her life. So that's why we condensed the complexity of a human life into the 5 fundamentals of family, finance, faith, fitness, and friendships.
Yeah. One of the things that Rachel, I do a lot of controversial things, as you know.
Oh, I'm sure.
I preach financial heresy all the time to the financial Pharisees out there, and but Rachel is not as nearly as controversial. She's more likable. People love Rachel, but the one thing that she gets the most hate on is when she dares to suggest that couples combine their finances and not run them separately. And she actually used a phrase pretty similar to what you've used here in the book, that if you can share a bed, you can share a bank account.
And she's exactly right. Yes, and we go further. We say you have to.
We do too.
That's absolutely essential.
Yeah, so walk through that, because we
Why?
talk about this a lot.
Why is it so essential?
Even just two segments ago, we had this exact call. We get this call once or twice a show sometimes
and
about
it's
a spouse.
becoming, not only are fewer and fewer people getting married now, but many who are getting married
aren't acting like it.
Are acting and also aren't sure whether they're roommates or married.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They aren't acting like they're married.
There's a proliferation of lawyers drawing up prenup contracts.
Yep.
I mean, that's a fine way to go into a marriage. And again, if it's a second marriage or third marriage and there are lots of assets and children, complexities exist. But ordinarily, when a young couple marries, you would have thought it would be with a wholehearted bonding. We're not talking roommates. We're talking, this is really, really important stuff. Mm-hmm. And the reason that you have to share the bank account as well as the bed, and frankly, leaving one is just as ridiculous as omitting the other. But the reason there is because there's something very different about how men and women typically relate to money. Not that a woman doesn't enjoy earning money, not that a woman can't be particularly good at her career and excel at it, but it doesn't do anything directly to her sexual feminine identity. When a man makes money, it is a very intrinsic, masculine-related thing to him. And the evidence of that, of course, is the reverse. Unfortunately, we've seen places, regions where steel has, as an industry, has collapsed. And one of the things we know, unfortunately, is that when a male loses the capacity to earn money, loses a job, heaven forbid, there is almost inevitably a sexual dysfunction that accompanies that. It's almost inevitable. Never with a woman. When a woman loses a job, it's painful, it's problematic, she's worried, she is embarrassed, but it doesn't hurt.
But the way money is identified with us is different. And so learning to work as a team, though, is crucial in the unity, right, of the marriage, to say, hey, we both are in this together and we are coming at it wholeheartedly into this marriage. So every part of our marriage, to your point, from my health, the way I want to raise my kids, all of that has to be in line with my husband, right? And together we see it.
Clearly,
and we're a team.
I've got to say, maybe many of the people who get upset when you speak about these things are people who've sort of almost lost contact with their essential feminine natures. And it's easy to do. Men can lose contact with their masculine natures and become incapable. A lot of the people in the news on campuses today are right there.
Do you see because I do hear from specifically on the women's side of hearing this message, if something happens, I have to make sure that I protect it's almost this fear elements there. And then for the guy, different reasons why, but I think it is so key. Okay. You also talk about, I want to get this in before break, this work-life balance aspect too, and how key that is.
Yeah. So that actually is not what we talk about, because we figure out anybody who can work a spreadsheet can draw up a work-life balance.
There you go.
That's not hard.
Happy anniversary. How many years you've been married?
Not telling you, because if I tell you, then you're going to know how old the wife is. But let's say it's over 44 years and below 46 years.
Okay, there you go. Okay. I can probably figure that one out. I'm a math guy. Rabbi Daniel Lapin, the new book is called The Holistic You, Integrating Your Family, Finances, Faith, Friendships, and Fitness. Anything this guy writes, I recommend. He's a good friend and an incredible thought leader. Be sure and check it out. This is The Ramsey Show.